Yo, what's good, everyone? What's good? I hope y'all having a great morning or afternoon. Well, it's afternoon now. Um, I think this is my first time doing a Saturday afternoon broadcast, but nevertheless, I'm here. Trying to switch it up. Do some weekend things. But today, if y'all see the thumbnail, I got a special one for you today. We need to talk about this whole Trump raid situation. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys, please remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Black Empowerment Movement. Go through our videos. If you see something you like, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to be more consistent with bringing you videos on topics within the Black community. So please remember to like the videos that help me out, and YouTube that help my videos get out there. So hey, like the videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Everything helps. All of that stuff is free 99. So please help a brother out with that, because all of that type of stuff is free, and that most definitely helps out with everything. Before we get in that, let me share the link. If you want to come in and discuss the topic with me today, let me post that link. Yeah, let me post that link out there. See if I can get some more people to join in on the live. Yeah, man. The Trump people, man, the Trump supporters going haywire right now, like all because Trump is getting raided, and we're gonna get into the details of that. Well, not so much in the details, but we're gonna talk about what's going on, and it's very weird. I won't say it's weird. It's odd the stuff the Trump supporters are complaining about now. Is very interesting. So let me see here. Let's see. Yeah, man. These folks talking about they want to ban the FBI. They want to sound like they want a civil war. And you look online, you see a lot of these Trump supporters. They are talking about civil war and all type of crazy stuff like that. I'm like, man, y'all is not about to do anything. So be quiet. Um, but hey, you never know with these white people. You never know. All right, so I got everything shared, got the links up. So let's get into this right now. So I want to say about a week and a half ago, uh, Trump his home in Florida was raided, and the whole reason behind the raid is that the FBI said Trump took classified documents. Some documents they said that was top secret, classified. He took those documents down to Florida. Now, what's within those documents, we don't know. I don't think any of that information has came out yet. But they said, they got the warrant to search the home because Trump had those documents he took that was classified and top secret. So that was the whole reason behind the warrants and everything like that. I don't know if it was, any is a valid reason for them to do it or not. I'm not here to talk about that, really, to be honest. Hey, that's I really don't care about that, but I do want to look at another aspect of this thing. So before we get into that, let me do this. Let's see here. Yeah, man. It's funny. The thing is, I want to look at the double standards within this thing. Since the raid happened, you have these Trump supporters that are outraged that the federal government did this to that boy Trump. They are so upset. They're so mad that the FBI raided Trump. And now they get to the point where you have these white identity extremists there are doing crazy stuff. They outside of FBI government buildings, uh, causing confrontation with the federal agents and doing all type of crazy stuff. Of course, we know it's white males that's doing these things. They even talking about defund the police. Uh, but that is crazy. Like, let that be some black men doing this type of stuff. You would have all the resources of the United States government to lock them up, being trailed, followed, their family, their social media pages, all of that would be like under surveillance. But right now, you see the double standard of this. Right now, you see white men have free range to harass the FBI. The FBI, you have these white extremists. They have free range to harass the FBI to extent. It's crazy, like the FBI history is to harass black people, and we see how much effort they put into harassing us. But black men, especially, we don't have a history of blowing up federal buildings. Oklahoma City, white man, you know. Um, you can even look at Waco situation. I mean, the Waco situation, that's a whole nother topic. But the federal government got in, let them do what they wanted to do out there, and they have a whole compound. Uh, we see that white men have free range to do certain things, and it's a double standard. This should be more of an example to show you how the laws are applied different to us as black people, and especially black men, because when these white men get upset, the government, it's like they hands off, they let them blow off their steam and all type of things. So what I want to do, I want to let me share this video. Let's see here. Let me share this video real fast. It is crazy. See, so I'm gonna share a video of what's happened. It happened outside of Cincinnati. This crazy man was outside the Cincinnati field office, FBI field office, and they had to kill the man. But I'm gonna play this. Let's do that.
Anti-law enforcement rhetoric online is growing even louder. Today, an armed man in Ohio allegedly attempted to breach an FBI field office, leading to a shootout where the suspect was killed. Here's CBS's Jeff Pegues.
Police say the heavily armed gunman drove up to the FBI building in Cincinnati around 9:15 this morning with a nail gun and an AR-15 style rifle. When armed agents confronted him, he fled and led police on a high-speed chase down Interstate 71, which ended in a gun battle in a field near Wilmington, Ohio.
Gunfire was exchanged between officers on scene and the suspect.
Sources say the deceased suspect is Ricky Schiffer, and social media posts indicate that he was in Washington for the January 6th attack on the Capitol, though no one by that name was ever charged. The attack comes after the FBI search in Mar-a-Lago prompted calls for civil war and violence on social media. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell received this threat.
Swalwell's a worthless piece of...
We've never seen a moment like this before.
Jonathan Greenblatt tracks threats at the Anti-Defamation League.
There was a tidal wave of anger and animus that came from radical supporters of President Trump and a wide range of extremists across the sort of MAGA movement.
With threats increasing, DOJ officials removed information about the judge who signed the Trump search warrant. Today, the Attorney General defended the agents and prosecutors.
The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants.
Here in Washington, city officials have been monitoring for potential threats. In fact, across the country, law enforcement has been following threads online, and some of the chatter that they are seeing is similar to what they saw leading up to January 6th. Late today here at the FBI.
So guys, you see that this guy, want to take things into his own hands, go to the FBI, have a shootout with them, a chase and a shootout. So we got these extremists, man, these white extremists. I don't see no outrage. I don't even see the FBI. You don't see nobody talking about these white extremists like they should be, like they came after black people. Y'all, do y'all remember? I want to do y'all remember. Leave a comment. Do y'all remember when they was talking about the black identity extremists? Like we don't have a history of doing this type of foolishness. Rightfully so. We have a lot of reasons to be mad about things, but we don't have a history of doing this type of BS. To the extent like the white man. So it's crazy. You don't hear in the media a lot about these white extremists doing these doing things, and when you do hear, you never see the federal government going after them to the extent they go after black men and black organizers. So and that's it's just crazy. So, but I will say this: I do agree. We do need to ban. We do need to ban the FBI. We really do. We do need to ban the FBI, but not for the reasons they're talking about. But what is it? Let's bag it up. Let's talk about what happened in 2020 when everyone was talking about defund the police. And you had, majority white people, let's keep it a buck, that was saying, oh, you feel defund the police is so un-American. How do you want to defund the police? And then you have some police talking about they're going to quit their job if they get defunded and everything like that. But it's odd now. If you pay attention to what happened after this Trump raid, now these same folks are talking about defund the FBI. What happened to back the blue? Ain't the FBI is pretty much the federal police? So now they're talking about defund the FBI, the biggest, baddest police agency. But back in 2020, when people was talking about defund the police, when a life was taken unjustly, we ain't talking about just George Floyd. We're going all the way back from years and years of police unjustly killing black men and women like dogs in the street for petty stuff. Shoot them in the back. Trayvon Martin situation. That's not dealing with the police, but the Freddie Gray. So many examples of police unjustly killing black men and women. Sarah Bland. So many in my city. Atiana Jefferson. We got a situation where police are killing innocent black people, and we had blood in the streets. We had a legit reason for why we want to defund the police. At least take the funding that was going to the police and put it into other social programs that can better serve the community. And they was all in the uproar about that. But they favorite guy, they favorite man, Trump. They favorite man, Trump, had his house raided. Nobody got killed, anything like that. Oh my God, all of a sudden, because they went to his house, took some documents that he shouldn't probably have, and they took those documents, now they all in the uproar. Nobody was harmed. They just went to get some paperwork. And they in the uproar about that. In a big uproar. They want to do a civil war now. Civil war because they went and took some documents from his home that he shouldn't have probably. But now they in uproar. We want to defund the FBI. Oh, we want to have a civil war. This is the federal government overstepping their bounds. Well, where were y'all guys at when the FBI overstepped their bounds? When we was telling you years ago, decades ago about the FBI overstepping their bounds when they was doing it to black folks. You didn't want to hear it. It didn't matter to you at that point. As black people, we have a long history of dealing with the FBI and the corrupt ways of them. We've been knowing about the FBI. We've been saying the FBI do very shady shit. This is new. This is not nothing new to us as black people. So I do have some other stuff to share. So let me share another clip about this defund the FBI. So let's see here. What I have. Let's see. Let's look at this video talking about defund the FBI.
Republicans to lash out.
Yeah, that included North Carolina representatives who criticized the FBI and the Department of Justice. The responses were swift.
I think every Republican believes that the FBI, when it comes to Trump and other organizations, have lost their minds.
At the time, all we knew was that the FBI searched and removed boxes of documents from Mar-a-Lago. We didn't know what the boxes contained, why they were removed, or whether it was a matter of national security, and only later learned some of the evidence was labeled top secret.
If you are carrying a message that is anti-Donald Trump from his perspective, he and his people will attack you. We've seen that time and time again.
Republican North Carolina congressional representatives and candidates quickly took to Twitter, calling it a weaponization of the FBI, intimidation, and demanded investigations of the Department of Justice. The change in tune is not lost on political scientist Chris Cooper.
So defund the police has been criticized as a movement title by folks like Jim Clyburn, Democrats, saying, hey, we don't really mean defund the police. And if you have to explain what you mean, you've already lost. Was a little bit surprised to see the Republicans pick up the very same language that they have criticized.
Why the strong rhetoric without knowing exactly why former President Trump is being investigated?
I don't think anybody, the people giving the message or the people receiving the message, really believe in this as a policy issue. It's a way to say where you stand and, more importantly, who you stand with.
And with that, Cooper says, comes what most politicians, regardless of party, long for.
You are not going to lose, so you can say really whatever you want to. And what do you want if you're in Congress? You want power. You want power within a certain group of people. And I think espousing this kind of language does that.
You know, what Chris was talking about there, too, is, if you're in a super safe district, which let's just put it this.
All right. So, yeah, they big mad. They are big mad. They want to defund the FBI now, all because they buddy Trump home got raided for documents he shouldn't have at his own home. He shouldn't have took those documents anyway. So, hey, it is what it is. Because where were you guys at when we was complaining about the FBI doing shit to us, So I guess that back the blue shit one. Y'all switched on back the blue real fast. All for Trump and documents that he shouldn't have. That went out the window real fast. So and then when we talk about let's go back to black identity extremists. One of my comrades, Rakim Balagoon, he was targeted here in Dallas because they want to use something he posted on social media. I think it was regarding Michael X. I think that was the post they were using to attack him. So they came and they pretty much Rakim Balagoon, they just picked him up in the middle of the night and pulled him out of his apartment and locked him up for 5 months. Because, come to find out when he was going to court and everything, the FBI said they've been following him and other people associated with him for 2 years. Rakim Balagoon, a great servant to the community out here in Dallas. He didn't portray any signs of being an extremist that he warrant to be followed for 2 years, or the organization he was associated, or the people for that matter, to be followed for 2 years. Why they not putting that energy behind people that's going up to Cincinnati field office and having shootout with the police, people blowing up buildings in Oklahoma, and why they not putting that effort and following those type of people for 2 years? Why they not monitoring those people's social media? But they do it to people like Rakim Balagoon that not showing no sign of a threat. All because he's a black man. He's not agreeing with corrupt policies and doing community service in the neighborhood. And he said something, allegedly said something on social media, which is his First Amendment right, that went against what they believed in, because he said something about Michael Johnson that warranted him getting picked up in the middle of the night, being locked up in the feds for 5 months, unjust. But he got out because it was unjust. And you know how hard it is to get away from the feds once they lock you up? Their conviction rate is like in the high 90s. So you know they was in the wrong when Rakim was able to get out from the federal prison. So you know they was in the wrong. Nobody get locked up by the feds and get out. It is almost impossible. But this happened to Rakim out here in Dallas. So if you're not familiar with what happened, just Google Rakim Balagoon or YouTube it. You can see the interview. But you have these white men able to do these things and don't get harassed and followed and everything like that. Nothing happened to them. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So, yeah, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, hold on, let's see here. I have another video I wanted to share. So, I do want to take it back and show the history of a little brief video that's going over the history of the FBI attacking Black people. So I think this is a pretty good video to highlight that. So let's go over that. Oops.
Members of Congress accountable. In this day and time, they could really stop and halt the progressive movements that are
taking back.
The report identified Black identity extremists as a threat to law enforcement. Critics say the report is eerily similar to the FBI's 20th century counterintelligence program.
COINTELPRO was an FBI operation established in the 50s by J. Edgar Hoover to target African Americans who were fighting for justice and equality. He targeted Dr. King, he targeted Malcolm X, and over 80% of the targets of COINTELPRO were members of the Black Panther Party.
At the height of COINTELPRO, activists and community organizers were targeted. These include current Congressional Black Caucus members like John Lewis, Bobby Rush, Emmanuel Cleaver, and Barbara Lee.
The church committee in the mid-70s held hearings and determined that many of the actions and activities of COINTELPRO were really unconstitutional.
What you've described is a series of illegal actions intended squarely to deny First Amendment rights to some Americans. How shall we ensure that it never happen again?
One of the similarities that I see are that it's based on race. You know, COINTELPRO definitely targeted African Americans. Black identity extremists, which Attorney General Jeff Sessions has put out, targets African Americans. When it was brought to our attention, we immediately contacted the FBI director and had a very forthright meeting. I specifically asked him, how do they identify Black identity extremists? Who are they? And there was no answer to that. We still don't know who's a Black identity extremist.
A lot of activists around the country are very concerned that we're getting ready to repeat a very sad chapter of our history, where people who are rightfully protesting what they consider to be an injustice in their community, which is their relationship with police officers, are now being targeted and labeled as extremists and are going through periods of surveillance and harassment.
As a community worker, I attended many Black Panther Party functions. I was part of the breakfast program. We registered many people, the African American community and others, to vote. Well, the FBI during COINTELPRO would try to turn members of the Black Panther Party against each other. Agent provocateurs were placed within the party to try to sow dissent.
I was the coordinator of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. In December 4th, 1969, Fred Hampton and Mark Clark, two members of the Black Panther Party, were murdered. They put an informant, William O'Neill, planted him inside the Panther Party.
But if we understood, Fred, that we are dedicated, that his life wasn't given in vain.
The National Director of the said that the Black Panther Party was the #1 threat to national security of this nation. And that created the condition for law enforcement agents all across this nation to go after Panther. That program that they did, in some sense, we ought to be thankful for, because that put in writing for everybody to see we're still in the eyes of so many, nothing but a bunch of. Was I surprised? No. I fully expected it to happen. Now the question is, how do we deal with it?
People need to get to their members of Congress and get them a copy of this report and hold their members of Congress accountable. In this day and time, they could really stop and halt the progressive movements that are taking place in the country. And I think with Black Lives Matter, with the Dreamers, with all of our millennials and what they're doing, they deserve to be out there and to protest and to engage in petitioning their government to right the wrongs of the past. Those of us who've been around, who saw COINTELPRO, really know the risks and the dangers. And so I hope that people really believe us that this happened, because this is COINTELPRO 2.0.
All right. So you see, the FBI have a long history of harassing Black people, Black organizers, Black organizations. So yes, the FBI should be defunded, but not for the reason the Trump supporters want it. They want to defund it because the orange man got harassed and ruffled up. He didn't even get ruffled up his home. They went and got documents out of his home with a warrant. See, the FBI, they do things differently with Black people and Black organizations. They actually kill us. They actually put agents in our organizations to pit us against each other and cause us to be in compromised situations. People, the FBI have caused people to lose their lives in these organizations. People are still locked up because of the FBI within this country. We have political prisoners still locked up. We have Ashada Shakur living in Cuba because of the FBI and the things they did. Like, the list goes on and on of how the FBI harassed Black people and Black freedom fighters, Black social justice warriors. So yes, the FBI should be defunded and be banned and did away with, but not for the reasons these Trump supporters are talking about. Not for that reason. So yeah, the FBI should be defunded. Yes, the FBI should be banned. Yes, the FBI needs to be dead away with, but not for the reason the Trump supporters are talking about. And that's what I want to get through. Not for the reasons they're talking about, because they haven't experienced the things the FBI really do. Like the things the FBI did to black people in the for decades. They should have been banned. We can even go back to when the FBI was created, Hoover and the attack on Marcus Garvey, and he had an agent infiltrate Marcus Garvey movement. Like, if we really be honest, the FBI was created to take down black organization, because it was really created to take down Marcus Garvey. So yes, it should have been done away with. Oh, that sound country, been done away. But you get the point, man. But yeah, let's do away with the FBI. And man, fuck them Trump supporters. Now they want to get on board talking about get rid of the FBI because a warrant was served to get some documents Trump shouldn't have. Funny. Y'all, where were these Trump supporters? Where were these white people when we was talking about when the FBI killed Fred Hampton? Where was the FBI then when they played a part in getting the Chicago Police Department to kill Fred Hampton? Huh? Like, we actually lost people because of the FBI. So miss me with all that other shit y'all talking about. Yeah. But I just wanted to jump on real fast, talk about that. But it is interesting now. What happened to Back to Blue? Blue Lives Matter. All that stuff, man. Now they on a whole nother tune, boy. All because of that boy had some documents he shouldn't have, and they went and got him. But yeah, let's get rid of the FBI overall. Let's get rid of them, but not for the reason these Trump supporters are talking about. But hey, guys, I'm about to get out of here. It's Saturday. You see, I'm looking scruffy right now. I gotta head up. I gotta go to the barbershop, get taper up, edged up. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Black Empowerment Movement. Also, like the videos, leave a comment. Whether you agree or disagree, hey, let's dialogue in the comment section. Share the videos. Like I said, guys, I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel, so share it with a friend, tell a family member, have them subscribe to the channel. Just continue to show love and support. I'm gonna keep bringing great content. So we'll keep doing my thing. I just want y'all to keep supporting, but I'm about to get up out of here. And as always, all power to the people. Until next time, peace and power.